We are just going to wait a few moments for a few more people to join us before we officially start the presentation. So maybe I'll start with introducing myself. My name is Krystyna Kowalska. I'm the International Marketing Manager for the University of Leeds. And today we are going to deliver a session on our MA TESOL by the University of Leeds, and we will also be explaining and telling you more about the very generous full scholarships which we are offering in partnership with the British Council for teachers in India exclusively. So a very good opportunity and hopefully a good session for everybody to be part of today. So just to run through how the session will work, we will do some introductions. We will talk about the University of Leeds a little bit in case you're not familiar with our university. We will talk about the MA TESOL course, how to apply, and also we'll give you the overview of eligibility for the scholarships and how to apply for the scholarships. We will have a word from the British Council to tell you a bit more about the scholarship opportunity and the background for those scholarships. We will also have an introduction from our team based in India to tell you how they can support you through your application process. And then we will have some time for questions and answers from everybody. And we'll obviously give you our contact details in case you have further questions after the session. In terms of questions, we would like you to maybe hold off with asking questions until the end of the session, but feel free to put your questions in the chat throughout the presentation, and we will be answering them between us throughout the presentation. So hopefully it will work quite well. I'll move on to introductions, and then I think we've got a question for you as well. So like I said, I'm Krystyna Kowalska, originally from Poland, International Marketing Manager for South Asia for the University of Leeds. Today, the main presenter of our session is Dr. Martin Lam, Senior Lecturer in TESOL and International Lead for the School of Education. We have Liana Hyde, Acting Regional Director from the British Council based in India. And we have our colleague Shweta Datt, our Country Advisor for South Asia based in Delhi. And hopefully we will also have our colleague from Admission, Sue Haynes, joining us for the question and answer session. So before we start, as I can see people are still joining, we thought it may be useful to ask you where people are from who joined the session. So I'll launch a poll, and if you can tell us which part of India you're from, we'd be very grateful. We might ask again at the end of the session when we have a few more people as well. But it would be interesting to see where people are from. So maybe without further ado, I shall hand over to Dr. Martin Lam to, I shall start with actually introducing the university and then hand over to Martin. So if you're not familiar with Leeds, we are a Russell Group University, a very prestigious university in the UK, top 100 in the world in the latest rankings by QS. We are the 5th most targeted university by employers in the UK. 35th most international in the world. So we have quite a few international students on campus every year, and a lot of students coming to study with us from India in particular. And we're third in the UK for student experience. So we know students really enjoy studying with us. We're based in the city of Leeds. If you're not familiar with Leeds, Leeds is probably the third or fourth biggest city in the UK, with excellent transport links. It's about 3 hours from Edinburgh in Scotland and about 2.5-hour train from London. We're located in the county of Yorkshire. Leeds is one of the most popular student cities in the UK, and a really popular city for people to live in and move to, especially recently. For work, for example, it's the second largest finance centre in the UK after London, for business and legal services. And it's the centre in the north of England for sports, arts, theatre, opera, music. So there's something for everyone, and it's a really, really popular city for students and for professionals as well. Leeds is a campus university. We're actually one of the biggest campus universities in the UK. And we are located just outside the city centre. So it's a very unique position. Not many universities in the UK are as lucky as we are to be right outside the city centre of one of the biggest cities. So it's a really fantastic setting for students, and students really enjoy this because everything you need can be found on campus. But if you're bored of campus, you can walk into the city centre and have much more entertainment there. So as a university, we were established in 1904. And like I said, we're a Russell Group university. So there are 24 very prestigious Russell Group universities in the UK. And we're part of that group. We have about 38,000 students studying with us every year from over 170 different countries. So that really makes us very international as a university, and we have plenty of support for international students studying with us. And we offer one of the probably widest ranges of courses across UK universities, with around 300 undergraduate courses and about 200 postgraduate courses on offer. But today we're meeting to talk specifically about our course in MA TESOL by the School of Education. So I'll hand over to Dr. Martin Lamb now to introduce the course in more detail for everyone.
Thank you very much, Christina. I'll just share my screen. Shall I share my screen now then?
Sorry, I'll stop sharing,
yeah.
And hopefully you can share now.
Can you confirm that you can see the screen? Can you see
yes.
the screen?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Great. Okay. Yeah, very glad to be able to talk to you today, potential students on our MA TESOL, which is in this offered by the School of Education at the University of Leeds. And I'll just say a little bit about the School of Education first. It is one of the best in the UK, and it's ranked in the top 100 in the world. However, I'll just say, I think these rankings, these league tables can only really say so much. So I'll just try and explain why I think it is a good place to study. And I'll tell you a bit more about the course itself that you would be doing. So it's a very global community. Both staff and students come from all over the world. The specialisms of staff are quite varied. So TESOL language education is just one of them. My colleagues, I have about 50 colleagues spread across different sub-disciplines of the main discipline of education. So I have colleagues who specialize in childhood and youth studies, some who specialize in digital education, disabilities, language education, of course, pedagogy, social justice, special educational needs, and others, policy making, curriculum design, and so on. So the course that we are focusing on today is the Masters in Teaching of English to Speakers of Other Languages, TESOL. Also, other names that similar courses have are like Masters in English Language Teaching, Masters in TEFL. Other universities have other names for it. So the MA TESOL at Leeds is designed for professional teachers, teachers with experience. So you have to have a minimum of 2 years experience to be on the course. And many of the students have a lot more than that. And the program will deepen your understanding of the foundations of TESOL while advancing your knowledge in key areas. So really it's designed for committed, enthusiastic teachers who want or need to take a 1-year break from their career in order to reflect on their experience in their teaching career so far, deepen their knowledge of education, and perhaps specialize in an area that they would like their career to move into when they return to their country to resume teaching. For example, some teachers might want to move into teacher education, or to specialize in digital education, or the teaching of become a manager in a language center, for example. So many people use it as a kind of to redirect their career into new areas. The course itself is made up of, has 3 basic components. So there's the specialist modules, which everyone does. There are 3 of those, and I'll talk about those in a minute. Then there are optional modules where you can choose to further your studies in a particular area. And then there's the dissertation, which is your opportunity to do original research in the area of TESOL. And all being well, you'd get 180 credits overall. You need a minimum of 150 credits to get the MA. So looking at the modules on the course, the compulsory modules are learning and teaching in TESOL in semester 1, and that focuses on pedagogy, on the methodology of teaching language. The second main compulsory module is investigating language for TESOL, which focuses on the language element of TESOL. So it focuses on English, the nature of English, the description of English for the purposes of pedagogy. So that's more linguistics based. And then the final compulsory module will be technology enhanced learning, which you would do in semester 2, which is a specialist module looking at the application of digital technology in the teaching of English. You would also have the opportunity then to do 2 15-credit modules, which are optional. You can choose from the range of modules that you see on the screen here. You can either do 2 15-credit modules or 1 30-credit module. So you'll see at the bottom the 30-credit modules are current issues in second language teacher education. So for those of you who might be thinking you're going into teacher training or teacher education, teacher development, and then teaching English to young learners, for those of you who are more interested in that area. And you'll see that the other optional modules cover a wide range of subtopics. And then, as I said, the 2 semesters run from September to December. Then there's a break for Christmas, when over the Christmas period of 4 weeks, when you will be, it's not really a break because you will be working on your assignments then. The second semester lasts from late January to early May, with another 4-week break around Easter, when again you will be working you'll be working on your assignments. And then from May to early September, you'll be working more independently. You'll be studying research methods, and then developing your own research project. And for that, you'll work with a supervisor, a member of staff who's interested in your particular interest, which is your project area. And that project, as long as it falls within the broad area of TESOL or applied linguistics, that is your choice. We really encourage you to choose an area that is of professional interest to you. Just show you 4 traits of my colleagues in the TESOL team. We are, I believe, the largest TESOL department in the country, in the UK. And you'll see how international we are as well from the names. There are about 7 of us who are from the UK, and the rest are from, well, looking at my colleagues here from Chile, Iran, Slovakia, China, Armenia, Vietnam, and Uzbekistan. You can't get much more global than that. And they're all the staff are ex-language teachers. So they've all been teaching in various contexts around the world. So they have plenty of practical experience in TESOL. Okay, a little bit more then about what it's like to actually study with us. As I've said, your tutors will all be experienced teachers themselves, and the staff that in the way that we teach the modules is that usually a module is taught by 2 different members of staff. The class sizes are limited to about 30 maximum. Sometimes it's much less than that. Usually it's somewhere between 20 and 30 students in each class. We don't do big lectures. All our classes are like seminars, really. So a limited number of students, and there may be mini lectures, but there'll also be group work, discussions, and you'll have about 6 hours of direct face-to-face teaching per week. And 6 hours may not seem like very much, but at master's level, a lot of the work that you do will be independent. It'll be you working online or in the library, doing your own independent reading or research. You'll always have tasks to do between the sessions, between independent tasks, either independent for you to do it individually or in study groups. You get, obviously you will all be enrolled on the virtual learning environment. This is now very important. It provides lots of electronic resources to support your studies. We're very proud of our library here in Leeds, one of the biggest education libraries in the country. Pretty much any article you want to read, you'll find it online in the library. And there'll be resources related to each of your modules that are available as well. And things like, you know, these are the things that we've all got used to during the pandemic over the last 2 years, but things like recorded lectures, and online discussion groups, and so on. You'll get a lot of support when studying in the School of Education. I think this is one of the things that distinguishes our program actually is the amount of support you'll get. Every student has an academic personal tutor who you'll meet several times during the year. Teaching staff are always available they're very accessible. You know, they're always just an email away, or you can visit them in their offices. There's the libraries, as I said, we have several different libraries that are on campus, and there's also a lot of resources from the library that are online which you can use, which will help you in developing your study skills. There's dedicated support for international students as well. There are thousands of international students on the campus, so you won't feel alone. I'm sure there's a big Indian student society as well. I haven't personally had contact with it, but there are plenty of other students from India. And there's a career service who can provide support for international students too. Being with us is not just about studying as well. There's lots of extracurricular activities that you can do. We really encourage you to get involved in other activities, especially those offered by, there are 300 clubs and societies offered by the Leeds University Union. It's a very active union right in the heart of the campus. And we strongly suggest that you go along in Freshers Week, in the induction week, which is just in September before the courses start, and join whatever clubs or societies you're interested in. Maybe try something new, because it's a great way of meeting students from the UK and other countries as well. There's other things that we offer as well. There's always an annual postgraduate conference in our school, careers fairs, there are guest lectures, various social activities throughout the year, and trips. And if you have a look at the pictures here, the one at the top is a picture of our School of Education. We're what's called a red brick university. And our School of Education is built with red bricks. It's from the mid 19th century. And it's an interesting building in itself. The picture below shows a group of our students, postgraduate students in the Lake District on one of our trips, social trips. And that's something that you can do in October to see some of our lovely countryside here in the north of England. Okay, we're now going to talk about admissions to the programme. I wonder if my colleague Sue Haynes is here, because she's from our admissions office and could talk about this. Christina, do you happen to know if Sue is here with us?
Hi Martin,
Sue
yes, I'm here.
Hi Sue.
Hiya.
Can I can still operate the slides, but if you could do the talking.
That's brilliant, thank you very much. So good morning everybody, my name's Sue Haynes, as Martin said. I'm the admissions manager for the Faculty of Social Sciences, and my role is to oversee a team of colleagues who process the applications that we receive for both undergraduate and postgraduate applications in the Faculty of Social Sciences, which is the School of Law, the School of Politics and International Studies, the School of Sociology and Social Policy, and of course the School of Education. So just briefly, I'm going to talk about the entry requirements. You can see them on the screen here. We're looking for the equivalent of a bachelor's degree at 2-1 or first class from a recognised Indian university, and the subjects we're looking for, generally speaking, are in social sciences, humanities and related disciplines. And for this course as well, you would need at least 2 years relevant professional experience. The English language requirements are as written on the screen, and I suspect the majority of you will have standard 12 qualifications. Rather than go into any detail about which state boards we're looking at, you can find that information on our website, or you can email us at any time to pgeduc@leeds.ac.uk, and I suspect that might be on one of the slides. If not, I'll put it in the chat so everybody can see it in due course. The application that you make for the course, you make through our application portal, and the link is on the screen there. And what we're wanting you to add to that, excuse me, is copies of your academic transcripts and certificates. And this is important so that we can check that your degree is relevant to the sort of study that you're going to be carrying on. The English language qualification, obviously, and the teaching experience, you can submit that through a CV in the work experience section of the CRM. It's quite a straightforward system, and you're able to upload as many documents as you need or you think that are appropriate to your and will support your application at the various points within the application portal. I'm going to hand over now, I think, to Christina, who's going to talk about the application process for the scholarship itself. So I've talked you through how to make an application for study at the University of Leeds, and Christina will talk about more detail about the scholarship itself.
Great, thank you. So maybe I'll start sharing the screen. I think this is it. Sorry, I'll have to probably go through the slides to move to where we need to be. So just bear with me. Here we go. Right, so in terms of the scholarship, we have partnered up with the British Council, and we were selected as one of only 2 universities to work with the British Council to offer the British Council scholarships for English language teachers in India for 2022. The University of Leeds is the only university that was selected to offer the full-time course scholarships. The other university, I believe, is Stirling for online provision, but I think Leanne will talk you through that in a bit more detail in a moment. So for the 3 scholarships that will be available for our MA TESOL, which is a full-time course, those will cover pretty much all of the expenses, including the fees for the course, the living costs, so you'll have a monthly stipend, your visa application costs, including the healthcare surcharge for the UK, so you can access the NHS, the flights, return flights to the UK and back to India, and then a few other allowances to do with maybe study costs, maybe printing your dissertation, things like this. All of that will be covered. In terms of eligibility, these scholarships are supposed to be only for English language teachers working in or directly with the government education sector in India. So that will be an important part of the criteria. And they are only available for the MA TESOL course at the University of Leeds, starting in September 2022. The deadline to apply for the scholarship will be the 1st of May, but you must have submitted the application for the course before you can apply for the scholarship. And that is because you will need at least your application reference number for the scholarship application. So you have to apply for the MA TESOL course first through the application portal. And we would strongly recommend that you do that at least 3 weeks before you apply for the scholarship. And that is to give admissions enough time to review your application and make a decision on whether you're eligible for the course as soon as possible. So we can then make decisions on shortlisting after the 1st of May. So the sooner you apply for the course, the sooner we will have a decision and we will be able to shortlist. Stage 2, so once you've submitted an application for the MA TESOL, you can then, with your student application ID number, you can complete the online application form for the scholarship. Now, you can find more information on the website. So we've included all of the information here about what the scholarship covers, how to apply, what the eligibility criteria is, and most information that you should want to know is on the website. So I strongly encourage you to kind of refer to the website if you have more questions. So like I said, it covers pretty much everything that you may need. If in case your standard 12 doesn't meet requirements and you need an IELTS test, we will be able to reimburse successful scholars. But I think for majority of applicants, I think you will probably meet the standard 12 requirements, and that won't be really necessary or an issue. Our worry was that if you have to take IELTS, it will slow down the application process and you may not meet the application deadline. Now, in terms of eligibility, there are a few criteria to be aware of. So you must be a passport holder and a permanent resident in India. You must demonstrate a case for financial support, a socio-economic need in a written statement on the application form. You can't be in receipt of financial support or funding towards the programme of study in the UK from any other source. So the scholarship is supposed to be the only source of funding. Have not previously studied a degree in the UK or previously lived in the UK. Be motivated and academically able to follow and benefit from a UK postgraduate taught course. So that's something that you'll have to address in a statement on the scholarship application form. You must be working in or directly with the government education sector in India with a focus on English language teaching. Be active in the field with proven interest in the proposed subject area of English language teaching and educational technologies. So there's a big focus for that scholarship is on this in particular. Willing to demonstrate future contribution to the field of English language teaching in India through the benefits achieved after graduating from a UK higher education. So again, that will be a question in the application form that you'll have to address. Agree to be part of the British Council's Global Alumni Network. Maintain contact with the British Council, act as an ambassador for the UK and engage with activities as part of scholarships for English language teachers, alumnus during and after your studies in the UK. So this is once you've been selected for the scholarship and you actually come to study. Demonstrate a plan and a passion to engage with the wider community working English language teaching from India through a written statement. So again, that's another question in the application form for you to address, and then agree for your personal data being shared with the British Council as a condition for applying for the bursary. You will not be eligible if you hold a dual British citizenship. You're an employee, former employee, or a relative of an employee of Her Majesty's government. So that includes embassies, high commissions, and other a few other institutions you can see listed. And you cannot be an employee, former employee, or relative of an employee of the British Council. So that should cover majority of the information that you should need to know about. Let's just go back to the presentation. And I'll hand over to Liana to talk a little bit more about the scholarship from the British Council's perspective. So a little bit background about the scholarship and how it came about and what it's designed to do.
Great, thank you so much, Christina. So yeah, my name is Liana Hyde. I am speaking to you today from Mumbai. I work on the teacher development programs that the British Council runs around South Asia for English language teachers. And I just want to talk to you a little bit today about kind of why we're offering the scholarships, why the focus on technology, a little bit about eligibility as well. So as you can see on this slide, we're offering 6 scholarships in total. So there's the 3 which are offered through the University of Leeds, and then we also have 3 which are online MSCs that will be delivered through University of Stirling. That also includes 2 weeks in the UK as well, visiting and doing a residential course there, which is part of the scholarship. So why are we offering them? So the British Council, I hope you all know, provides opportunities for English language teachers to access continuing professional development opportunities. And this programme is really part of our commitment to do that for English language teachers in India. So through these scholarships, we hope that the successful scholars will have increased knowledge and understanding in the field of English language teaching, with a particular focus on appropriate technologies to enhance teaching and learning. That they bring their knowledge and experience from their home country and share this widely with the international ELT community during the course and while participating in other wrap-up activities. And most importantly, that these individuals will support the development and improvement of English language teaching in their respective communities, and ideally within the wider sector in the future. So the focus that we have on technology here, well, educational technologies played an important role in English language teaching and learning in India for many years. But I think we've seen, particularly over the last few years, a real change in attitudes towards and usage of technology within teaching and learning. And we feel that it's a really important time to build on the knowledge that's been gained, but also to really understand how we can unlock the potential of technology within English language teaching. So eligibility, I think Christina has really covered all of the eligibility criteria, but just to stress that for the scholarships, that last point about how we really want to see the potential scholars about how they would kind of bring that knowledge back to their communities and what they would do with it. And I think it's something to really focus on in your written statement for the scholarship, and really think through what your plan is, what you would do with that knowledge in the future. So just to say that on our website, which you can see the link to on the screen there, I think we can post in the chat as well. That's got information about both scholarships. It's got the link to the University of Leeds website as well, with more information. So there's lots of information out there. So please, please go and find out more information. And lastly, thank you so much for coming along, for expressing interest in these scholarships. We're really looking forward to seeing all your applications and your plans for supporting English language teaching in India in the future. I'll pass back to you, Christina.
Sorry, I was looking for the unmute button. Thank you, Liana. So I think I'll hand over to my colleague, Shweta, to introduce our India team. I mentioned earlier, if you haven't been with us from the beginning, the University of Leeds does have a really fantastic team in India that helps our applicants with a lot of questions. So I'll hand over to Shweta to introduce the team and say what kind of support and how they can support potential applicants.
Thank you, Christina. Hello, everyone. To briefly introduce myself and the South Asia team, I'd like to let you know that we are a 5-member team in India. with 4 of us based in Delhi and 1 in Chennai. The office mainly serves as an information hub for students who are residing in India, in Nepal, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka. Provides comprehensive information about the university, its courses, scholarships, fees, eligibility criteria, application process, etc. And to all prospective students and their parents. The team also works closely with Indian institutes, with corporates, with alumni to foster new links and partnerships. I'm Shweta Dutt. I'm the country advisor for the University of Leeds. I'm based in Delhi. I lead the South Asia team here, and I look after partnerships and collaboration for the university. The senior regional managers on the slide here, along with other responsibilities, lead on the recruitment activity in their respective regions. We have Sujata Sunil Kumar. She's the regional advisor for South India and Sri Lanka. She's based in Chennai. Manisha Manav is based in Delhi, looks after Western India and Nepal. Shibani Mukherjee is the regional advisor for North India and East India and Bangladesh, and is also based along with Manisha and myself in Delhi. We have Nikita Kapoor, who provides the team overall support. So if you have any questions about the eligibility, about the university, any admission procedures, visas, etc., feel free to get in touch with us. Our web link is there on the slide. We are all contactable via phone or email. So thank you and good luck. Over to you, Christina.
Thanks, Shweta. So we would encourage anybody who's got questions after this session to get in touch with our India team if you're unsure about anything. They will be able to help. They are in your time zone. We talk to them very regularly. So they are a great source of help and support. If you would like to reach out to some of our Indian students to ask them about their experience of studying in Leeds, then we have a great scheme where we have student ambassadors from many countries across different subjects and levels at Leeds who are contactable. For you as a prospective student, you can reach out to them and ask any questions about the student experience. They're really helpful. We train them. They've got a lot of knowledge about the university. They can't help you so much with the application process, chasing applications and that sort of thing, but they are a fantastic source of knowledge about what it's like to be a student at Leeds. And there are a few students from India that you can contact to ask them about the city, about what it's like. So we would encourage you to get in touch with them. So thank you very much for bearing through the presentation. I think we would definitely like to hear from you and hear your questions. And thanks to those who have been completing the poll where you're from, because it's really interesting to see that we have people from all sides and all parts of India who joined today. I think we'll open this up to questions, so feel free to post your questions in the chat, or if you feel more comfortable asking a question, you can unmute yourself and ask a question. Hopefully we won't have everybody doing this at the same time, yeah, I think if you have any questions, please do post them in the chat or feel free to ask. There was one question that you may have seen already. Somebody was asking, Chiranjeet was asking if you have to apply with both IELTS and Standard 12. And I've replied to say it's either. So normally our entry requirements on the website will mention IELTS. However, we also accept IELTS equivalent from India, and that's the Indian Standard 12 results. So between 70 and 75%, depending on the board. our India team is excellent in advising, you know, what the local entry requirements would be in terms of your academic criteria and the English language equivalent. So they are a great source of information for that as well. But you only have to apply with either of those. Okay, so we have contact details for the School of Education, and we will leave those with you. We will send you a recording of the presentation as well. Contact details for our South Asia office as well. We will definitely share. So we've got a website with contact details for individual team members, as well as the generic southasia@leeds.ac.uk email address. So if you have any questions, please feel free to contact them. We will also post a few links, a few more links in the chat about where you can find more information.
Yeah, Christina, I was just going to say, if anyone has any questions they'd like to ask me right now about the experience of studying in Leeds on our MA-TESOL, then please, I can hang around a bit. I'd be glad to talk to any potential applicants.
We've just had a question. Is it significant to have 2 years professional experience?
It's necessary. 2 years is the minimum for our MA-TESOL program. Yes, we do have another MA program called MA-TESOL Studies, which is for students who don't have teaching experience, but that's the scholarship is not offered for that program. It's offered for the MA-TESOL.
Okay, I have a doubt.
Good afternoon.
Hi, yeah.
Good afternoon, everybody. Glad to meet you all. I'm Ruby Varghese. I stay in Chennai. It's in South India. So glad to see you all. And I have a query. I have completed MA B.Ed and I would like to pursue my career in MA-TESOL as well. Sorry, my education in MA-TESOL as well. So I have over 9 years of school teaching, over 9 years of teaching experience as a teacher and as a tutor. So is it okay if I have 2 years of work experience in a private school in India?
Sorry, do you mean that you had 2 years experience teaching in a private school?
Yeah, I have 4 years of teaching experience in a private school. So am I eligible for that then for this particular scholarship?
As long as you're currently working in a state school.
Okay, fine. Actually, I'm working in an edtech company in India. It's an online teaching is what I'm doing. I'm an online tutor. So, but I have 4 years of school teaching experience as well.
I see, yeah. Perhaps someone else could comment on your eligibility then, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that is probably going to be determined more by the British Council, because the criteria is that you must be working for either directly for a government school or an organisation linked with the government. So if it's a completely private setting, nothing to do with the Indian government, you might not meet the eligibility criteria. I don't know if Liana would be able to verify that, but basically how the process will work is we will be checking eligibility in terms of the school setting and your work experience and where you work with the British Council.
Okay, yeah, fine. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Excuse me. Good afternoon to one and all present here.
Hello.
Hello. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay, so nice to meet you all in this webinar, and so many people from India and abroad also. And getting an opportunity to be a part of this webinar, it's a great pleasure for us. And sir, I'm working with the government of India. It's in the state government, Assam. that is in Jorhat, for nearly 10 years. I'll complete my 10 years in September. But one thing is there, like I have specialized, I've done my bachelor's degree in political science, specialized in political science. But otherwise, I had English as a subject, but we had two English in our high secondary level. That was general English and Alti English. Will both the numbers be calculated together for that percentage? Because we have different 100 marks each. So will it be calculated together? And I've done my MA in education, but I want to proceed for, I've already done a course in Guwahati in Assam for British Council for 5 days training. It was a pleasure for me, and I have been contributing to the government. So I would like to pursue this further also, if you give me an opportunity for that.
Again, I'm not qualified to comment on that really.
Yeah, I think we might have to consult Indizim a little bit there, because we would be looking at your qualifications. So normally what admissions, and Sue can correct me if I'm wrong, normally what we will do is look at your, first of all, that you have a degree equivalent in a relevant area. And I'm sure your work experience in teaching will be very relevant and looked in addition to your qualification. So even if your qualification isn't exactly in English or teaching, but you are actually working in that area since, and your degree is equivalent to a UK 2-1. So in India, we would normally ask for first class or 60%. That really varies across institutions. But what would normally happen is our admissions colleagues are very experienced in looking at Indian qualifications. If they are unsure, we consult India team to check and verify the institution. So if you believe that your qualifications are equivalent to a UK 2-1, so they are either first class in India from a recognized institution or 60%. You mentioned you've got an MA qualification already, so I imagine that would be okay. And then we would be looking at your work experience. I mean, Sue can correct me if I've said anything that's not right. But
this is my 10th year running with the government of India, that is for state government of Assam. So it's a government department. And by September, I'll be completing my 10 years experience. Only that qualification part, but I'm interested. I'm a convent student studying at Carmel Convent. So my background was completely English. So I am like, I'm very interested for this program. And if you could give me, provide me an opportunity for the same, I would be like really obliged for it.
So are you currently, do you teach at all?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I am a CRCC. I am running a cluster. Okay. Like I'm a teacher, assistant teacher, as well as a CRCC. I'm running a cluster of schools and colleges. So that way I have to train the teachers as well as my students also. So if I'm experienced, if I get a proper opportunity, a proper highlight from your university, I think my work would become much better than before. So that would like really polish me.
Yes.
Can I just come in here? So Christine is perfectly correct in saying that we look at the entirety of your qualifications. As far as access to or an offer to the MAT SOL is concerned, we'd need to look in detail, obviously, at your background. But from what you've said to us, it sounds as if we would certainly be in a position to make you an offer for the course. We would need to check, obviously, whether that meets the British Council requirements for the scholarship. But we look not only at your undergraduate degree, we would want your undergraduate degree to be equivalent to a 2-1 or a first, as Christine has outlined. But because your master's qualification, which I believe you said is in education, is very relevant to what we would be studying as part of the MAT SOL, we would take all of those factors into account. It's very difficult to talk over a Zoom without actually seeing details of what you've studied in the past, but from what you've said so far, I think that you would be successful in being offered a place on the TESOL course. but we would need to double check, obviously, that it meets the entry requirements of the British Council. So I hope that gives you a little bit of comfort, and we'd certainly encourage you to make an application for the course.
Definitely. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. I'm just looking forward for a
Hello.
positive response.
Could I just
Thank you.
come in here as well to say that, sorry, Isha, it sounds like, and I agree with Sue, it's hard to say like just over a conversation like this, but it sounds like you would meet the criteria for the scholarship as well, from what you've said, but obviously we need to have a look at your application.
Yeah.
And something to just make clear in terms of what Ruby was saying as well, you know, you might work, at the moment you're not working in a government school, but if you work with a government school, so a school that you're working for has direct contact with a government school, that you're doing teacher development work with government school teachers, for example, then that would also make you eligible for the scholarship. My apologies, Isha. Would you like to?
Yeah, good evening, everyone, and my apologies for attending this late because I was in the transit mode and I was facing heavy technical issues, but I'm glad that I joined before the meeting is over. My name is Isha Anand and I'm working with Chandigarh Education Department. And as my little brief profile, I would like to just share that I'm working as a teacher trainer with my department. I'm also working as a PISA trainer. I'm working as a trainer with British Council and CBSE. So far, I have trained 3,000 plus teachers, and talking about my qualifications, I've also done MA in English and MA, that is MA in Education, or MEd we call it here. And I've also qualified UGC NET, that is a national level UGC test for the eligibility of the nationwide eligibility for PhD degree in India. Apart from that, talking about my profile, I've worked on various projects linked with the government as I'm teaching in the government department for the last 9 years. Until now, I have worked on more than approximately 10 projects. Currently, I'm working on a national level project with PME Vidya, that is where I develop e-content for all over India, where I develop e-content for the students who were not able to join school because of the COVID. So I have created videos. I have given my voiceover for more than 100 plus audios and videos. Apart from that, I've been working as a national level trainer under the program called Nishtha, organized by Ministry of Education in India. And apart from that, currently I'm working with British Council in association with CBSE, training the teachers for item writing. I've been working on creative and critical thinking projects as well. My regular samples for item designing, they are with the CBSE, and we also, distributed India-wise. For example, my sample papers, they were with CBSE. We have been, doing it with the students all over India. And I'm really glad that if, given this chance, I would really prove myself, not only for my, personal growth, but as a teacher, as a professional growth. I think I need this opportunity. Apart from that, I'm also associated with various NGOs where I spend my evening hours with the students who are underprivileged by teaching them, going to their huts. I'm associated with various associations like Prayas. Prayas is an NGO which is being run by some of the, socialites of Chandigarh. Yes,
Isha, I'm really sorry to interrupt, but it sounds like you have a wealth of experience and would be very much suitable for the program. So I would really strongly encourage you to put in an application. We just wanted to sort of keep it open for questions from others about the course.
Sure.
Sounds great. What you.
Thank you so much, because I'm really enthusiastic. All the opportunities, these were given by my department, and I think I haven't missed any of the training given by my department, because I'm always ready to learn and also to impart it to others as well. So that's my aim. So, and I hope that I look forward, if I'm, bestowed with any opportunity like this, I'll really offer myself for the same. Thank
We'll
you
have
so
a look.
much.
Have a look at the links that are posted in the chat, and I'm sure
We will share the recording of the presentation, so don't worry about missing the first bit.
Okay,
Strongly
thank you.
encourage you to make an application, definitely.
So kind of you. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, Rini, would you like to ask your question?
Yes, hi. So I'm a PhD student in English language teaching. I have a master's in literature. And for my PhD, I am looking at improving the writing skills of students in government schools in Delhi. I do not have a teaching experience, a 2-year teaching experience, but this is my profile. And my bachelor's is not in first class, but my master's is a first class degree in English. So I think that not for this, but for future, I am interested in pursuing an MA in TESOL because my bachelor's and master's has been literature. And then I subsequently moved to pursuing a PhD in language teaching, English language teaching, with a focus on grammar. So I wanted to know if you could maybe comment on that.
I think for the course, we do require minimum 2 years of teaching experience. So unfortunately, I don't think that you would meet the course requirements. I mean, Martin and Sue might be able to correct me, but that is an essential part, just because of how the course is structured, and you know, it does build on the knowledge of and experience of being a teacher. And I think if you don't have the 2 years work experience, you wouldn't normally qualify for the course. So unfortunately, this may not be an opportunity for you at this moment in time. Maybe if you do become a teacher, or maybe in the future, there may be some other scholarships available. I mean, the university in general has other courses that may be related more to your interest area. But it doesn't sound like this is the course necessarily for you, or you would fit the course entry requirements at the moment.
Okay. Christina, yes, you're completely right about that. As Martin said earlier on, and I'm sorry if you missed this part of the presentation, but a key part of this particular course is that it builds on your teaching experience, and it uses that and shares it with other people within the course. There is an MA TESOL studies for people who don't have that teaching experience, but I do think that but that is not part of the scholarship. So Christina's correct. I'm afraid at the moment, given what you've told us about your academic background, you wouldn't be eligible for the MA TESOL program.
Okay, thank you.
May I ask something? I have one question in mind. If you could please help me out.
Yeah.
Yeah, my question here is that this program, because I've missed, the initial part of this meeting today. How long is this program? May I know the duration, please? Yeah,
it's 1 year.
1 year. That's wonderful. And I just need to know that we have already registered. I don't know whether some technical issues were there. We haven't got any registration mail back in a mailbox, but would really appreciate if I can get the recording of today's lecture and this meeting, so that
we will be emailing everybody who's registered for the session. So if you're registered and the attendees as well, so don't worry, and you will definitely get the recording afterwards.
Thank you so much, and also for the convenience, I'm sharing my email in the chat box as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Greetings, everyone.
Hello.
Anjit here. I just have a short query. So I just want to know what are the stages of selection or shortlisting the applications. After shortlisting, do we go through an interview and all? What are the stages?
So once you've made the application for the course, you can apply for the scholarship. The scholarship deadline is the 1st of May, scholarship application deadline, but we would encourage that you send us the course application at least 3 weeks before that. So we would say probably by mid-April, we would definitely want to see majority of applications in, and then you can follow on with the scholarship application. Now, we will then take a few weeks to review all of the applications. So we will see who receives an offer for the course. and we will be reading through all of the answers from the application form, addressing the eligibility criteria for the scholarship. And we will then notify successful or selected candidates that we shortlist by the end of June. So there won't be an interview process in the middle. So we would strongly encourage you that you basically put everything that's relevant that you would like to kind of put across for the scholarship decision makers, because it will be a group of people. You put that in the application form as best as you can. Doesn't have to be long. What is more important is that it's, you know, that we see the relevant information and how this scholarship will help you make a difference, because essentially this is what the scholarship is for. It's for teachers in India or people engaged in teaching and teacher training in India, to help them develop the digital skills, to then help education, basically help to reach out to mainly the more vulnerable kind of and disadvantaged part of the society. But I think Liana will probably have more information on that. But yeah, there's not going to be an interview process. There's nothing extra on top of that scholarship application. That's pretty much it. So whatever you've put in there in the answers to the application, scholarship application questions, that's what we will be making the decisions on.
Thank you so much.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, after the application, will it be like verified and the indications will be given to us before applying for the scholarship, or together we can do both the process, like application as well as the scholarship?
Do you want me to come in there, Christina? So once you make an application to the University of Leeds for the MA-TESOL course through the application portal, you'll receive an application number, and that application number is what you need to complete this scholarship application. So there's nothing to prevent you doing them at about the same time. A lot of the information that you need for your course application will be replicated in the scholarship application. So if it's easier for you to do that at the same time, but it's probably better practice for you to make an application for the course initially and then follow that up once you've got confirmation about whether we will be able to accept you onto that course or not. And we're aiming to turn around applications as quickly as we possibly can within the team. You'll then have an indication of the fact that we can offer you a place on the course and then complete the scholarship application, so that you're not duplicating work unnecessarily. Yeah.
So ideally, this is why we say apply around 3 weeks before the application deadline, because that gives admissions enough time to decide whether they can offer you a place on the course, and then you will have enough time to complete the scholarship application. You could do them both at the same time, but then, you know, the scholarship application will be quite lengthy because there will be a lot of questions around, you know, to address eligibility. So if you can submit the course application by mid-April, and then you should hopefully hear within the next couple of weeks about the decision on your application, and then go on and apply for the scholarship before 1st of May if you've been successful and you've been made an offer for the course. That would be the best way of doing it. Otherwise, you could do it kind of closer, one closer to the other, but there's no guarantee that you would get an offer, and if you don't get an offer, then we can't offer you the scholarship.
Can I just make a recommendation to anybody that's thinking of making an application? There's space within the application process for you to submit a personal statement, and it would help to identify those that are seriously thinking about applying for the scholarship. If within that personal statement you say that you're thinking of applying to the British Council Scholarship, that will help us identify those applications that are coming for that and need processing really quickly, I just want to make sure that your application is as clear to the team as possible, that it needs processing with priority, so that because we do appreciate that the turnaround time is very tight for you all, and you would want to know as soon as you've submitted your application, or as soon as possible after you've submitted your application for the course, that you would be able to make your further application for the scholarship. So it's just it's not going to make a difference to your application, but it will make us aware of the fact that you're applying for further scholarship funding, and we'll be able to process with priority. Does that make sense? I realise I've gone on, on a bit of a ramble there, sorry.
And to this I have one, may I?
Yeah.
Sorry, because I have joined it, so I have so many questions, so sorry. My this may be the last question. I just want to know that when is this application opening, means when is this channel going to open so that we can apply it at the soonest?
You can apply now.
You can
for
apply.
The course.
Okay. That's great. And my second question is like, what is the basic eligibility? Is it MA in English, or we can have master's degree in education, or both, or what will be the best level for this?
As far as the course is concerned, ideally, we would like your undergraduate qualification to be in the humanities, social science, so languages, teaching, those sort of subjects. If you have a master's degree that is relevant as well, then that just adds to your benefit, that you have further qualifications. We do know that some teachers may have a different academic background at undergraduate level, but have a very relevant master's. But it's very difficult to talk about this in isolation. We need to see the qualifications that you're presenting. So generally speaking, we like you to have your undergraduate qualifications in the subject areas that are relevant to the course. But if you have a master's as well that is relevant, or a master's instead that is relevant, then we will certainly take all of those factors into account. But it's very difficult to say through a conversation. Okay. We actually need to see copies of the documents.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for clearing the doubts.
This is Indrajit. I'm from North India. I have one question, like I have also master's in English, but I don't work with government organization. I teach privately with the institute, and I teach Australian students creative writing and descriptive writing. Everything I teach, like US students also. So is it necessary the person who is eligible for this should be working with government organization only, or working with private organization? Even I have proofs that I'm getting salary in my account for this. Will it be sufficient to be eligible for this scholarship, or is it necessary to work with government organization only?
The very point of the scholarship is that it is designed for teachers working either directly or in connection with the Indian government, and this is mainly to address, improving teaching for kind of the more disadvantaged part of the society. So it's about improving teacher training and either reaching out to other teachers or to pupils and students in India. So it's about improving the system with digital education, and maybe tackling the challenges that teachers see in reaching students. So if you're working for a completely private organization, I don't think you'd be eligible for the scholarship. Liana can correct me if I've said anything that's not along the right lines, but from what we understand, the purpose of this scholarship is to improve the education sector in India for those more unprivileged, for those to improve access, rather than it being a scholarship more for personal reasons. It's supposed to be helping on a bigger scale.
I understand. Yeah, but the thing is that, like, I teach IELTS as this is the common exam for going abroad, and I teach English speaking as well. Students who are not able to get job in MNC because they lack in good communication skills. So will it not be included in the society improvement? Because students,
the
yeah.
criteria set by the British Council very clearly is that you have to work in a government school,
Okay.
a school that's linked to the Indian government.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Shada, would you like to ask a question? Or you just have your hand up, but you don't have questions?
Hello, Christina. This is Shada here.
Hi.
Yeah, so I understand I'm audible to you the moment you reply.
Yes.
Thank you so much for that. Yes, I just wanted to ask that I read somewhere during the application process that we need to have IELTS score should be more than 7 sort of thing. Is it okay?
So we will normally, our requirements on the website will mention IELTS, but we also accept equivalents. And for India, we accept standard 12, usually between 70 and 75%, depending on the board. So if you have standard 12 that meets that requirement, you don't need an IELTS.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That was a great question. If I say that instead of IELTS, I've already taken up the course by British Council related to, self-learning course that I took up for speaking and overall English grading. So I got that level, that was a C1 level something. I just don't remember. I have that certificate with will that work for this?
No, so not every English language test is recognized, and we can't use any tests for, mainly we're limited by what is accepted for visas. So depending on, if you have standard 12 that meets the requirement between 70 and 75%, just submit that and use that for your application. If you have other tests that are not IELTS and not what's listed on our course webpage as an accepted English language test, just get in touch with our India team, send them a copy of your result, and they will be able to tell you if it's acceptable or not. Because you may have taken a test that's not really preparation for university as such, and that might not be kind of listed as one of the equivalents.
According what I get from you is that we need to, take care of the 12 marks that we got for English, right? And what about 10 score? Like if we got above 80 and so on, that will also be counted, or only class 12?
Only class 12. That's the official IELTS equivalent that we can accept.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay.
Okay. Krishna, would you like to ask a question? Or maybe you just showed because you joined. I'm not
Thank
sure.
you, ma'am. Thank you. I've been listening to everyone and just calculating everything. Certain criterias I may not meet, but just hoping for the best.
Okay, yeah, well, if you double check, if you're unsure, by all means, you can send copies of your documents to our India team to have a quick look. They should be able to tell you if it's worth submitting an application for the course and the scholarship as well. So
because I have 10 years experience, ma'am, with the government. I have 10 years experience and many more years in private schools also. I'm from the convent equally, and I have worked with the British Council also. I've done the training in Assam and Guwahati for 5 days. So it is very encouraging, and I'm really in touch with them, and really I'm what to say, I'm very excited. So I'm just crossing my fingers. Let's see.
Can I also add here that you do have the opportunity to submit a CV alongside your application for study, and I'd encourage anybody that is thinking of applying for the British Council scholarship to send us as full a CV as you can, because we'll be able to then identify if your teaching background is appropriate to the qualification as well.
Okay, so I've shared India team contact details so that you can find them on the website, or you could just email them. So that's they will be really helpful initially if you're unsure that you meet the entry requirements or the requirements for the scholarship. For those initial questions, I'm sure they'll be really helpful. Do we have any more questions?
Hello, ma'am.
Hello. Hi, Sunita. How can we help?
Am I audible? Am I audible to you?
You are.
Okay, thank you very much. I have been listening all your conversations out. Actually, one question I have, do we need 70 to 70% in particular English subject in 12th standard or overall 12th standard?
It's just for the English. So we will just use your standard 12 to look at your English grade as instead of IELTS. So instead of asking Indian applicants for this particular course and the scholarship especially, rather than asking everybody to take an IELTS test, which we realize may be a bit much to ask given the time scales, we accept standard 12 to meet the English language requirement instead. So we will be looking at your English language grades.
Okay, as I have been working here in state government for 10 years, I have been working here, and I'm looking forward to this project. Let's see.
Excellent. Yes, we're really looking forward to seeing the applications and you know, for the course and for the scholarships, and we really hope that we will be able to select some really excellent applicants who will, you know, will really benefit from the course and will come back to India able to give back.
Yeah, I have been working here as master trainers. Yeah, in British Council, in the MP state government in India. So as a master trainer, I have been working here for 5 years. So I've been in touch with all your master trainers continuously. So I have just this question only. Then how many stages we have to cross for all these?
So you just need to make an application for the course first and then submit the application for the scholarship and answer all of the questions in that application. And that's it. It's, you know, it's not going to be a very complex process. I mean, those applications are not short, so they will take some time to complete. But after that, there's no other stages. There's no interview. There's nothing else. We look at your scholarship application and we judge your eligibility based on that.
Okay, that was the question, like some interviews will be taken or not. This was the major question I was going with. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any other questions?
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm really sorry I joined a bit late, but I have a question, very specific one and a quick one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I've been working with a non-profit that works with the government schools in a tribal belt. So there's a tribal community that I work with. And like, will I be eligible for this?
Very likely. It's difficult to say because we will have to run it past the British Council. They will be the people verifying whether your employer and the setting that you work in meets the eligibility criteria. But it sounds very likely. I don't know if Liana's.
I agree. No, it sounds very likely. And it's exactly that kind of example of, you know, you're working with government schools, but you're not necessarily employed by the government, and that still makes you eligible, potentially. So yeah, it sounds like from what you're saying that you would match the criteria, but obviously we'd have to have a look at some more details.
So what all like specifics that I'll be needing to apply for that? I mean, would I be needing something that is like specifically for my case? I would be requiring those documents or certifications from my organizations and or the government schools or the public schools that I've been working with?
I think it would be sufficient in the application procedure. It would take you through what would be necessary for the different, so you can put in your CV, for example, and that will show who you've been working with in the different sectors. And that will allow us to kind of assess whether you would be eligible or not.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm really grateful. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions? You obviously for the course you'll need a first class bachelor's from India, so 60% of first class, and then 2 years teaching experience is what makes you eligible to apply for the course. And then once we determine that you can be offered a place on the course, then you can apply for the scholarship. So the main things that you have to meet, the main criteria for the course is that you have a bachelor's in a related subject, so something in humanities, social sciences, Indian first class or 60% from a recognized Indian university. And then to meet your English language requirement, you need standard 12 English between 70 and 75%, depending on the board, and then minimum of 2 years teaching experience. And then the additional criteria for the scholarship is that you work in a government or government-related institution, school, or something related to teaching. Do we have any more questions?
Thank you, Christina. I hope you have already cleared most of us, all the doubts, and we are really, really looking forward and excited to, move ahead with the applications and with all the eligibility criteria. I would like to wish everyone good luck who all are here in the meeting. And it was really amazing to know about this program, and especially the way you took up the queries, and your team, they just have made a clear picture that how to apply and what are the basic requirements for the same. Thank you so much, and really, really, we all are looking forward to apply.
Well, excellent. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for joining. I mean, the session is as good as the questions that come in. So it was really helpful for us, and I hope it was helpful for everybody that attended. Thank you very much for your time. It wasn't a short session at all. And thank you to everybody from Leeds and Leanna from the British Council for joining us and spending time to address the queries. We will be sharing a recording, so we will be emailing everybody after this session with a copy of the recording with contact details for our India team. If you have any more questions, feel free to get in touch. And we will try to be as helpful as we can. And if I can stress, please do try your best to make the application for the course by mid-April, if you can. So we have enough time to review your application and decide if we can make you an offer for the course. And then you can apply for the scholarship. The scholarship application isn't short. There is a lot of questions around eligibility for you to address. So give yourself time before the deadline as well. The deadline is the 1st of May. Give yourself time to complete the application. The earlier you can do this, the better. So we'll really look forward to receiving your applications, and fingers crossed we will be able to select some excellent candidates. There are 3 of those scholarships. I think everybody wishes we could offer more, but there are 3, so it will be competitive, but hopefully we will select some good candidates, and we will see some really excellent students coming and joining us here at Leeds in September. Thank you again, everybody, for joining, and have a good afternoon, everyone. I'm sure you'll hear from us soon.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you, Christina.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
It was a great session, very informative. We joined or not, that's secondary, but otherwise the session was great. Thank you so much.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Kristen. Thank you, everyone.